What a heartbreaker. It's just finished. England are beaten finalists, and congratulations to Italy who have won. The kickoff was a journey, joined by Mr. Adam McCullough, Mr. Lawrence McKenna.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to rationalise what's going on. How do you want to do this evaluation? Because I think everyone's got their.
It's been a real shame. I think for me, I'm still very much waving the flag. Football came home. I truly believe it did. I think as a concept, football did come home, and I'm full of pride for this team. However, mistakes were made, Mr. McKenna.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm of the opinion that Gareth Southgate had a plan. I think Italy disrupted that plan, and maybe we didn't foresee that. They disrupted a plan that Southgate probably had. And I've got to admit, I can't see it in the moment. I'm looking for what the logic was behind it, all these kind of things. The main thing for me was the changes that Mancini made. Just change. And it didn't seem like England were reacting at that point. As a team on the pitch or as a management side.
It was a passive... Do you know what? Look, I've made my feelings on Southgate fairly clear of late. Like I do back him, I do rate him, I do think he's got it right. But even somebody who's like fully on the Southgate hype train, I find his substitutions totally unfathomable. Like, I don't know what he's doing.
He reminds me of Ali sometimes. They come way too late, and they can't force the change that you want to see. That's why I asked you guys, do you think he just doesn't rate the play? Like, we rate Grealish and we rate Sancho and all of us guys do, but maybe it's a case that he doesn't, or at least for what he wants the team to do.
There must be a logic behind it.
Like, there must be some sort of logic from him to make him think, actually, these guys don't give me what I want from players in my team, and therefore he overlooks them. But I agree with you, if we were sitting here and let's say Sancho did his metatarsal 2 months ago and Rashford had his shoulder surgery so he didn't play and Grealish was left out, we'd all be going, that World Cup though, if we had Sancho and Grealish and Rashford, we'd be able to win it. And
well, then in
actually
that case,
we're on the bench.
Yeah, in that case then I feel like, the fact they were part of the camp, the fact that, like you said, this is probably almost name for name the same squad that will go. Maybe a Dominic Calvert-Lewin's changed out, maybe a goalkeeper's changed out, or maybe there's someone who backs up Luke Shaw in a different way or something like that. Maybe Trent goes, someone like that. It very much so, name for name, you'll see the similarities.
But where did he get it wrong today? Do you think it is in the selection, or do you think it's in the way that he used the entire squad?
I think it's when we went 1-0, not forcing it then.
To go 2-0?
Not going gung-ho, but getting the second, because I felt like we kind of retreated a little bit. And then in the second half and extra time, we were just waiting for subs. Like, it was like we were waiting for that change to
they
be
did
made,
look,
so that the sea change in
it
the
did
game.
look that way. The players did look a little bit like they were sort of waiting for Gareth Southgate to act. And I don't know if that's true, but either they looked or their legs looked like they were waiting for Gareth Southgate to act. And that didn't happen. And England scored early, so Italy had to come on to them. They needed that goal. And it was such a sloppy goal to concede. Letting it go all the way across the penalty area when you've got you've got two really good centre-backs, Kyle Walker and other big names in there who should get used to
I think
the ball.
Stones, though, like, I don't necessarily think it was a foul, but I don't think he could have done any more. I think you could make a case for perhaps, the one that Pickford tipped onto the post.
That's the real killer there, because he went low. You would have thought...
I thought Stones was fouled. I think it was Chiellini or Bonucci had it kind of... Sorry, I dropped out the camera there. Pulled down a little bit on the player, and I thought it was a foul personally. And then you had the mistake from Jordan Pickford. But at the moment, I'm in a position where it's like, this tournament's been a success. I never expected them to win it. So how can I sit here and complain about them not winning it? Yeah. But then there are things which I see that I think they could have done better.
When it's within your grasp,
it changes. Expectations change when it's there for you, and it was there. You've got to remember that Italian side today, coming into the tournament. Okay, they've grown into it. They've been brilliant and blistering almost from day one. Remember when they beat Turkey and we watched it on the opening day? They announced themselves to people. Prior to that game, people were saying that they were at best dark horses. That's what they were at best. People weren't saying they were, everybody was saying the Portugals, the Belgians, the France sides.
I think they're in that transitional space between dark horses and that top spot.
Yeah.
So they'd be on the cusp of that point there.
Yeah, but we've got to a final against them. I felt like England had the opportunity to win, and therefore,
you're right.
I think that's what's the killer, isn't it? That's why it's so heartbreaking. And watching those
At
penalties
Wembley as well.
At
home.
Even if you'd say that they're 52% better, you'd say that Wembley is therefore a leveller, so it really is 50-50.
Yeah, and let's face it, the home teams had real advantage within this tournament. It wasn't just England. England made it to the final, but other teams who played at home also won a majority of their games, and had a relatively easy ride in terms of what happened off the pitch. I still think this England team, when they went to Rome, they still played a very similar game, if not better than we saw them play at Wembley.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see them go to Qatar, relatively small country. It's not like they're going to be jetting off into massive different directions. I think in terms of what England have got to do from here, it's about consolidating. This isn't about massive reform. This is about evolution of what's currently going on. And the fact is, Gareth Southgate understands the process.
Yeah, I think that, of course, when you don't win a tournament, there are things that you can flag about the manager, about the way we've approached the game, about loads of things. But I would also say that overall, from where most people's expectations were at the beginning of this tournament to where they've ended, Southgate has elevated everyone. Nobody really. I mean, I know that fairly optimistic and passionate England fans said that they could win the tournament, but not many people thought that.
Can I just play devil's advocate again? I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I feel Southgate hasn't got the most out of this team, but he's got the most out of himself.
I see what you're saying.
Has
He's got the most out of the squad, but not
as much as he can, just to.
You know what, mate? When it goes to penalties, I get that we said it was sort of a roll of the dice. Would we feel very different? Maybe we wouldn't. Would we feel a bit different if England had won it? And
Yes.
and that's. I get what you're saying.
No,
Can I make a point that I was going to make to you once on the kickoff, and we never really got into the conversation? And I hate to go back to the national team and then go back to your domestic side. When we had Brendan Rodgers, Liverpool fans, we were going around singing, "And now you're going to believe us." And there was a great feeling. We didn't win it that season. And then Klopp became available. And now, in retrospect, you look back and go, we believed in that moment. I think there are still levels to this England team that unless we think Gareth Southgate is capable of unlocking them, unless we see them unlocked, which we kind of have in some of these games, but they need to be unlocked more permanently.
There are certain players that we know are generational. We know they're brilliant. And I think that you could say that Southgate hasn't got the best out of them.
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho, whether it's Jadon Sancho, whether it's Jack Grealish, there are certain players that perhaps a manager we need to ask a question to a manager, why have you not got the best out of these players?
There is a real question, I think, around his loyalty in this game. I don't want to call it loyalty, but his steadfastness to play Sterling and Kane.
Sure.
And I wonder if in the next 15 months there's people who are going to make a case, not least Sancho, Rashford, these kind of guys, who hopefully by then will be fully fit.
Foden, another one.
Grealish, Foden,
That
all
was
these
my
guys.
mid-predict 11s.
Yeah.
My three behind Kane.
Yeah, with those
Sancho,
three,
Rashford,
none of them got a kick.
Yeah,
There we
so
go.
that's kind of the
China.
point. That's kind of the point here. There is the possibility of some changes in the next 15 months. Someone coming through, Dominic Calvert-Lewin having another decent season. And the
There are
Harry Kane winning some trophies.
Harry Kane going out. You know what?
Because
That could
every
be
big
part of
game,
it.
it disappears.
That could actually be part of it. Harry Kane going to a City or something like that, or a Manchester United
to
or anywhere.
elevate his own performances. Yeah,
I'd be interested to see what that makes him. Yeah.
Do you know
and then what happens with the midfield behind him? Because you've got to say, in the next
Those
18
two
months,
have been great.
Rice and
But
it's
Bellingham
Rice and,
will be coming through.
Exactly.
So
That's
we'll
what I'm
see
saying.
how that
And
goes.
possibly Henderson at the
So
tail
the
end of the
future is bright. This concludes our last video of
You'll
the
do something
Euros.
tomorrow,
I'll
sure.
do something
Yeah.
tomorrow, but from the kickoff, this has been a wonderful way to watch a football tournament. Thank you, obviously, to the True Geordie. Make sure you subscribe to us on Twitch. We're going to be on there loads. Thank you. I've loved it.
I love
You've
spending
made
time
it-
with you,
you've
know
made
that.
it amazing, Adam. As always,
Pleasure, boys.
make sure you subscribe to these boys. The link is in the description. I'm
Well done, Italy.
heartbroken, but
You
I
know
truly
what?
believe my kid made me that, and I'm
I think
flying
on
it
your
with pride.
channel, Rory, I think this is
was-
the place where you should shout out
Well,
Gianluca Vialli.
Yeah,
Ah.
that was what I was going to say. That
As
it's
always.
worth you talking
Credit.
about the
Full-
happiness in Italy.
Absolutely. I mean, full credit to Italy. I mean, if you're going to lose, you couldn't lose to a better team. And the fact that it's made Gianluca Vialli, one of my all-time heroes, smile, is a way to warm my heart.
A lot of Chelsea fans in your viewership because of your relationship with Chelsea and Italy. So, being good losers, being part of that.
No, you're
is
right. I mean,
saying
congratulations to Italy, undoubtedly. They were worthy winners in the end. But just a real shame. Thank you so much. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you all in a bit.